Welcome back to another Sunday night show, also known as Drinking in the Dark with Frugal Tiger. So this week I am drinking Robert Mondavi's Private Selection. Cheers. Holy shit, I have a hairy ass arm. I didn't even realize my arm was so hairy. Anyway, so I'm going to divide the video into two categories. As we noticed this last week, and as I pointed out the week before, the stock market tape was looking a little weak. The S&P futures, it didn't seem like it wanted to rally, and it seemed like it was a little bit biased towards the downside. And we saw that this past week with bond yields spiking higher, stock prices were coming in, and people are freaking out. And my mentality is, if you're freaking out about a 2-3% sell-off, well, then your portfolio is very biased towards growth right now, and I would address that immediately. This could get worse. It could also, as we've seen with this Teflon tape, it has bounced back from every single dip, especially since there's a good possibility Jerome Powell is going to come out holding a bottle of liquor saying, I just bought 10 more printers, guys, nothing to worry about. I'm going to categorize potential trades this week into two categories. So I'm going to talk a little bit about buying the dip kind of names, as well as breakout names into two separate categories. So really quickly, let's go over from last earnings as well as outside of earnings, what are the breakout names that I'll be really focusing on this upcoming week. Etsy is a huge breakout, had a great earnings quarter. Really pay attention to Etsy. Square is looking really good, and Square is actually vested quite a bit in the Bitcoin space. Pay attention to Square. It's a great name. The majority of my investment position in Square, I sold at like $70 a share. Fuck me. I still trade in and out of Square. It's a great trade. DraftKings is a name that I have. Watch DraftKings. It is running right now. Jazz Pharmaceuticals had a pretty good tape as of right now. It sold off a little bit. It's coming back down after it had a huge pump last week on earnings. Watch Jazz. The other one I want to mention is Rocket. Rocket is one that I actually have allocated some into an investment portfolio. Rocket has kind of been in nowhere land for a very long time, and it does not seem to be getting that Wall Street love. The other two names, tech names that I'm really paying attention to, are Snap and Twitter right now. They're running, and I'm very curious to see if they continue to run. Both names are huge, huge potential watches right now. We can continue to see some speculative money moving into Snap and Twitter. So, buy the dip names. We got Palantir. Palantir is getting beat up. Now, most of Palantir's beat up is because the insiders holding the shares are now finally able to sell for liquidity. So good for them. They're selling. I actually got caught with my dick out with Palantir. Very small share size. I was expecting a small bounce around 26. I was mostly out of the name at this point in time, but I'm okay actually holding the bag. It was very small share size, 600 shares on Palantir at 26. This can continue to drop, however, as insiders are trying to sell stock. We'll see this flatten out eventually, but I think Palantir is a good one to watch for buy the dip. Space is getting its face ripped off. They delayed their test flight till May. Space was like $64, $65 a share. I even mentioned last week I'm more or less out of the name. I'm waiting till after earnings. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I had 300 shares of very, very, very small earnings gamble that I took on Space. My normal position on Space is several thousand shares. But you guys know me, I'm a degenerate gambler. So with Space, watch that, potentially a buy the dip opportunity, but there was no sign of the tape moving back up after a huge drop off on Friday. We'll wait and see, but it's something I'm definitely paying attention to. Mara, Bitcoin's getting beat up. Mara is actually just a great name to trade overall. Just pay attention to this every day, you guys. Mara, if you ever find a woman named Mara, marry her immediately, even if she turns out to be a whore. Anyway, we got Plug Power and Fuel Cell. These names have gotten basically devoured. They're really volatile names. So just be cognizant about Plug Power and Fuel Cell. I bought the dip on Plug Power around 44. I got out. I think I'm holding about like 400 shares right now. But the majority of my stake in Plug is I'm out of. But I'm watching this tape. I think Plug, Fuel Cell can move. Great hydrogen names. And of course, Tilray is on the buy the dip name. So Tilray and the other stock, APHA, two marijuana names. Between the two, some people are actually recommending buying APHA, mainly because Tilray and this company are going to merge. Basically, APHA is slightly better play. I don't have time to go into details with this video, but I'm actually trading Tilray. I think Tilray is a more fun name when it comes to tape watching style trading. Anyway, earnings are not, the other two names I want to mention is Airbnb and DoorDash finally seem like they've broken a little bit of their heavily correlated trading patterns. And they both went up after earnings, but they're well off the highs. So they're in a category of potentially buying the dip as well as making maybe the earnings play. I think these names are just so heavily valued though. I just want to really have a good confirmation about the tape before I get my hands too far into these two names. There are no major IPOs I'm really watching right now. So let's go into this upcoming earnings calendar. Let's see what is worth trading based on earnings alone. And right off the bat, we got NEO. NEO is well off its highs. NEO keeps faking me out. I know you guys have seen some of my trading videos where I talk about how NEO keeps faking me out. $66 a share it had broken past at one point. It's down to 47. Earnings could tank it even further. We saw that with Space. I don't know what's going to happen with NEO, but I'm definitely watching it because this thing can move, man. This thing can move. ZM is Monday. ZM is a big one, one of the biggest winners in 2020. So watch Zoom Media, ticker symbol ZM. And we got Workhorse. Workhorse lost a major government contract. This was from last week. Its contract with USPS. So let's see what this earnings does because it might be out of work. Horse. Okay, that was a shitty joke. I blame Robert Mondavi. I am still drinking Robert Mondavi's piss. All right, Tuesday we got Target and we have AutoZone. And that's honestly all I'm watching for Tuesday. I'm probably still going to be trading NEO and Zoom and Workhorse from Monday. I think all three of them are great trading names and names I trade. I don't really trade Target that often, and AutoZone I used to trade pretty often. It can be a good earnings play, but those are the only two that I'm watching. And these are, I just want to mention, I'm not buying these before earnings or anything like that. I'm watching the tape and I am trading the day after earnings based on the performance on the tape. If the tape looks beat up, I might short a gap down. If the tape looks really strong, I might buy as a stock continues to gap higher. So Wednesday we got Snowflake. We'll see what happens. Warren Buffett's been buying Snowflake, and it's not like Warren Buffett to buy this stock, you know. It's actually a pretty good trade. Okta and Splunk. OKTA, Okta, and SPLK, Splunk. These are great names to trade. Probably Wednesday is the only really, Monday and Wednesday are like the only good trading days of the week next week. So in terms of earnings plays. I would probably be trading these same names, Snowflake, Okta, Splunk on Thursday, as well as pre-earnings on Wednesday. Meaning as bigger traders reposition their positions, leading up to earnings on Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll probably be trading Snowflake, Okta, Splunk. And on Thursday, we have Broadcom, ticker symbol AVGO, and we have Costco. So watch these tickers. Let's see how the overall market does this week, whether the dip gets bought, or do we trade down below 3,600? I would say 3792 is a key point on the S&P to watch. If it breaks that, we could have a bumpy ride down. Having said that, with Jerome Powell ordering his printers as we speak, we'll see what happens. Till next time, my friends, do not drink Robert Mondavi. I'll see you guys next week.
I just want the money.